This is the Creality Hi Combo, and today we're finding out, is it the best beginner printer for somebody looking to make money with 3D printing? Welcome to the channel. If we haven't met, I'm Sam. I am the real estate broker turned 3D printing entrepreneur, and I run a print farm from underneath my garage. I've been selling 3D prints for about 6 years, and I've been doing it full time for 3 years. Today is all about the Creality Hi Combo. We're gonna talk about things I like about the printer, things I'm not a huge fan of with the printer, and if you stick around till the end, we'll even talk about some profitability scenarios and how this printer stacks up against others in its class. Quick disclosure, Creality did send me the Hi Combo free of charge. However, they are not paying for this video or sponsoring the creation of this video in any way, so all of my thoughts and opinions here really are my own. They don't have early access to the video to suggest edits or changes. They're gonna see the video at the same time you're seeing the video. And on that note, I'm also not your typical 3D printing reviewer person. If you are into laser beams getting shot at the hot end to read temperature or decibel readers placed by the machines to see how loud it is, this is not the review for you. I operate a real print farm for profit here. This printer has been running in that print farm. I'm gonna talk about the things that I liked and didn't like about it during my experience with it. First, let's talk about the build of the printer. Overall, I'm impressed. When you get it out of the box though, it does require some assembly, maybe a little bit more than you're used to if you've been putting together the Core XY machines. To be honest though, it kind of took me back to my old days when I was putting together Ender 3 V2s, which at one point was nearly my entire farm. So for those of us that have been around long enough to have been part of those old Creality Ender 3 days or even Ender 3 V2 days, the setup of this machine compared to those is a breeze. It feels really beefy. The majority of the frame is metal and is made out of a cast die aluminum. I've moved it around the shop a few times and it's heavy, like it is substantial. I'm also a fan that while they were designing their cast die aluminum frame, they decided to wrap it around the Z-axis lead screws. I don't know if you're familiar with other brands, but I can't tell you how many times I have reached into the printer to pull off the build plate and I come out with grease all over me. In fact, I think this sweatshirt is forever stained with grease lead screw stains on it. The build volume on it is great. It's 260 by 260 by 300, and having that extra height is actually a lot nicer than you might think. I don't print anything too crazy because I'm all about printing things for profit here, and oftentimes the simpler, the more profit you get out of it. But I do have a few printers that have their height right beneath that 250 millimeter mark, and that does result in a few of my products not being able to print on those machines. So with this being at 300, I have no problem with my whole catalog, and it just kind of removes that step of being like, oh, I gotta print this, what machine does it fit on? I know anything I print, if this machine is open, it can print on it. My first knock on the printer is actually the footprint size and the space it takes up. Now, you probably won't find any other creator on YouTube talking about this because really it probably doesn't affect the vast majority of people. And to be fair, I have the same knock on any bed slinger that has some sort of multi-filament or multi-material handling system. They just all have really large footprints. But even though it might not be a problem for you right now, if you stick with 3D printing long enough, eventually you will run up against space constraints. Even more so if you are a for-profit printer like I am. I have limited space here, which means every printer I put on my shelves needs to pull its own weight and generate enough revenue to earn its spot on that shelf. The fact that the Creality Hi has to have its CFS unit sit right next to it means it's taking up nearly twice as much space as one Core XY machine takes up. So it essentially needs to create 2 times the revenue that other machine creates. Now, I'll admit, that's a pretty high bar to set, and like we talked about, this isn't brand specific to Creality. Any bed slinger with a multi-material or CFS handling unit is gonna have that same issue. And if you're just starting out, space probably isn't a constraint for you, and it may not be an issue, but just know in the back of your head, someday you will run up against space constraints, and this footprint is large. Let's talk Hotend. Now, overall, this Hotend has been great. I don't have any complaints about it, and I particularly like that the filament runout sensor is in the Hotend. And that is specifically important because it is a CFS combo unit. If that filament runout sensor was back here on the buffer unit or maybe on the side of the frame down here, it means that all the filament that are in these Bowden tubes would be lost as soon as the filament, ran past that sensor. So by putting it in the Hotend itself, all the filament in these tubes will get used up before it trips that sensor. Now, this is pretty petty, I'll admit, but I do not like that I have to take out 2 screws to get the Hotend cover off. Once the cover is off though, there's really nothing in it. It truly is just a cover, so you're not having to unplug any fans or take any wires out, which kind of makes the first part even worse, right? Like if it doesn't store anything, why do we need screws to have it attached so securely? Wouldn't a couple magnets do the trick? Easy on, easy off? Just saying, it'd be nice. So the Creality Hi printer itself can be purchased with or without the CFS unit. Now, to be honest, if you're looking at this machine and you don't need the CFS unit, it probably isn't gonna be your first choice because you're kind of paying for the ability to add the CFS. But maybe you're looking at getting the machine first and then when budget allows, you add the CFS to it. Either way, we're going to assume that the CFS is in your future, so let's talk about it. My first impressions on the Creality Filament system, or the CFS, is that visually it looks really nice. I don't have any complaints about the shape or the profile of it. It does have digital displays on the front, which I also like, so you can see the temperature of inside the unit as well as the humidity inside the unit. And it also has a digit display. At first, I thought maybe that just counted how many slots were filled, but as you can see here, I have 4 filaments in here and a 1 is displayed. So I actually think what it does is it tells you which slot is actually loaded into the Hotend. Inside the unit, you have the typical desiccant spots and the rollers for the filament that all work really well. One thing I really like about it is the PTF tube extensions. So we all know that a chronic problem that plagues these multi-material CFS units is certain types of filament, spools and brands can get stuck in them. You can actually print like aftermarket parts to create this extension in some other brand systems. So the fact that Creality just kind of built it in, I'm a fan of. Like, do the work for us. I like that. Now, I don't run a ton of different filament brands in my print farm. Simplicity equals more money. So I haven't ran a ton of tests with this, but I have ran a few different brands of filament through the CFS, and it's worked like a champ. I haven't had any clogs yet. One thing I'm not in love with are the sliding sort of clasps that keep the lid down. Now, Creality does advertise that this is a moisture-proof box, which is probably why they're kind of hard to slide, but one thing I learned while testing this about myself is that oftentimes I come at the CFS with filament in hand already, and having to slide these with one hand, if the surface it's on, isn't super textured and grippy, I found that sometimes the unit itself will slide away from me before the clasp actually slides. Super big problem? No. Minor inconvenience, I guess. I do have one rather large issue with it though, and that is the length of the cords. One of the cords is very long, and the other one is super short. So I mean, going back to our first issue with the whole setup here and the size of the footprint, even if you wanted to put the CFS unit maybe on a shelf above or a shelf below, the cord size is just not gonna allow for that. And I did check Creality's website to see if they had longer ones that you could buy. I can't seem to find anything on the website, and I have no idea if there's anything special about these cords or if you could, find a longer third-party one. But just know when you take this out of the box, the cords that you get are going to require you to put this CFS right next to the printer. Actual filament changing with the CFS unit is great. Because of the runout sensor being in the Hotend, the printer itself does all the loading and unloading automatically using the built-in cutter in the Hotend. So you get to walk up to the machine, pull the spool out that you're done with, put a new spool in, and once you get it into the tube there, the CFS machine and the printer kind of take it from there. There's no having to heat up the Hotend, hit the unload button. It all just kind of works for you, which I'm a big fan of. I do want to touch on the actual printer use itself. Now, we're not going to get into, a bunch of test prints and layer heights and all that stuff. Like I said, I'm not into that. I've just used this machine for real life orders. This is actually an order that needs to go out as soon as I'm done recording this video, but I wanted to leave it on here for the video itself. I have printed a whole array of my products, and you can see this one. I'm nearly filling the bill plate, and it prints edge to edge without a problem. The adhesion is great. No complaints there whatsoever. One thing I will mention though is the calibration is not fast. In fact, it is painfully slow. And one thing I didn't know is that by default, when you start a print, it wants to run a calibration every time you start a print. So the first time I actually printed on this, I almost turned the printer off because I thought I was stuck in some G-code loop because the calibration took so long. Now, it's a super easy fix. There's just a button you gotta push before you start the print that turns off the calibration. And since my first print, I haven't calibrated since, and I have seen no degradation of print quality at all. Now let's get to the fun part, seeing how much money we can actually make with this printer. The first thing we're going to do is add this printer to our PrintForce account. At the time of making this video, the combo was on sale for $539. I wasn't able to find the exact power usage that the printer uses, but just to be conservative, we're going to do 300 watts or zero 0.3 kilowatt hours of power. Our maintenance, we're going to do a standard 6 cents per hour of runtime. And then for our filament, we're just going to select our Elegoo Rapid PLA Plus, so it's apples to apples as far as the filament cost. Now that we have the printer added to 3D PrintForce, we can actually go over to our models and run our side-by-side comparison. I'm going to use just this controller stand as kind of our test model here. So if we open this up, I'm going to compare it to the Bamboo A1, like I said, just so it's apples to apples. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a note here. This is the A1, and now I'm going to get the sliced information from our slicer. So after slicing it, we can see that it takes 54 minutes to print, and it actually takes about 29 grams of filament. So we're going to add our filament. We're going to do this. We do sell this in custom colors, so we're going to allow the custom color. And then we're going to just put in here 29 grams of filament. And we can see here that it costs us 35 cents in filament. I'm going to leave the labor cost the same. This model has no extra supplies. I am going to sell this on Etsy. And on Etsy, we charge $5.75. And we can fit this one in our 5x4x4 box. My last step here is actually just print the printer. So I'm going to do just the A1 because, again, we're trying to make a comparison here. To now do our comparison, I'm just going to create a variation of this same model. So we create a new variation, and now we have our controller stand A1 variation. We can now edit this. So I'm just going to change this to actually Creality Hi Combo. And I'm going to slice this one and get the information. So as I would expect, the actual print time and filament usage is pretty similar. However, the Creality Hi Combo is slightly faster at 43 minutes, and the amount of filament used is going to be about the same at 26 grams. Because this was a variation, a lot of this information is already filled in for us. So we are going to sell this on Etsy. I'm going to just put in our price to ship this. It's the same price, obviously. But now instead of selecting the A1, we're going to select the Creality Hi Combo that we just created here. So after we added the Creality Hi Combo as the printer, we're just going to update the variation as well as the parent model just to make sure all of our information is accurate. And we can scroll down here and we can actually see the cost of goods on the A1 is $298 and the cost of goods on the Creality Hi Combo is $296. So not a huge difference. If we put in our sales price of $10.99, we can see that if we were to sell this product using the A1, we would make $7.55 per print, or using the Creality Hi Combo, we would make $7.57 per print. However, because the Creality does print it 10 minutes faster, we can see this boost in our profit per hour, which is actually the number I care most about. So at the end of the day, are you going to make a crazy amount more money with this printer than you are other printers in its class? No. Is it going to be just as profitable or maybe even slightly more profitable than those printers? Yeah, the numbers don't lie. If you are interested in the Creality Hi Combo, or maybe just the Creality Hi, or maybe just the CFS, we're gonna have links for all that in our description below. It's a great way to help out the channel. Even if you're not gonna buy, just click the links. It helps. Also, if you're interested in the 3dprintforce.com pricing tool we used, we'll have that link below as well. I know I'm pretty, but get out of here. I told you, I got orders to pack.